Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing another What's It Worth regarding what's behind me, that being the Gleam FABERGE Kyeggo. Now this bad boy was actually once again found by Staxu, so make sure to go check him out. That time recording, once again, this is during his live 24-hour stream. But with all this being said, it is once again a 1 in 12,800 chance to find in the wild, since it is a 1 in 100 to find the actual FABERGEs and 1 in 300 for your specifically desired one. So its demand is going to be at roughly the same as the other two, so it's not going to make a crazy difference. However, we're going to be looking at values roughly around 8 GR as the lowest, with the highest being around 12 to 13 GR max. But with this being said, let's get straight into the trading process. All right, let's go in the chat and let's type in looking for offers on Gleam, Yellow, Fab, Kyeggo, and boom. And now let's wait for offers. Alrighty, and we have our first trade request incoming from Cool Kakatus. So let's see what Cool has to share with us today. So we start off strong with a Gleam Sanded Dusket being Pure Brownie, a Gleaming Halloween Yellow Cephalops, Foolish Nimble, and it does seem like this may be Cool's final trade, but we'll quickly check in a second. Without even having to ask, Cool did just say they're a realistic offer. So judging by all of this, is this trade worth it? I would definitely most likely say this trade is worth it. It is a great trade to take, especially with the Gleam Sanded Dusket. I would definitely take that on a one-on-one. We do actually throw in some additional ads, being the Gleam Halloween Sorrel, which is the blueberry variant, Pure Nimble, as well as a Gamma Valentine's Avitross Pure Brawny. Now I'm assuming these are separate trades, but overall, let's just assume that the Gleam Sanded Dusket and the Cephalops are together. Those two are a great trade to take. Maybe they're flexing, but regardless, overall, these trades are great trades to take. I would definitely do them. As of now, it does seem like they're flexing, but we're gonna put the flex to the side and we're gonna go straight into the next trade. All right, and our next trade is coming from Ender Boys 9047777. So let's see what Ender has to share with us today. All right, and we do start off with an SA Halloween LFH Pure Nimble, and Cool did just say hi, this is my offer, by the way, so we're getting straight into the chase. This is their final offer. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? Depending on how you see it, this trade actually may be leaning more closer towards an L, as do keep in mind that this is going to be around 6 to 8 GR max, but it does have better demand overall than the actual Gleam Yellow Faberge. So this is going to have to be a trade that's more dependent on what your personal interest is. It is a slight L, so we'll give this an in-between depending on how you see it. But this being said, let's get into our next trade. Alrighty, and we do have our next trade request incoming from NotAntiNoo. So let's see what NT has to share with us today. So it seems like we're starting off with a massive flex offer, but nonetheless, we are starting with a Gleaming Halloween Red Dusket Dull Brawny, and I hope and would assume that this is their final offer. Though be it is a flex offer, so do take this with a massive full scoop of salt. All right, without further ado, let me actually quickly check with Auntie and hopefully confirm this information. All right, I did just ask Auntie as to whether or not this is his final offer or not, and he did just say yes, this is my final offer. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? I think you and I both know this trade is an obvious no-brainer. Massive thumbs up, straight through the roof, hell, even through the whole game itself. All right, this trade would be diabolical. Now keep in mind, the Gleaming Halloween Reds as of now, in comparison to these Faberges, hell, even the Gamma ones, like of this year of 2025, it can't even compare. So nonetheless, this is an automatic default. Major thumbs up, take this trade immediately. If you're not, you're selling. But without further ado, let's get straight into our next trade. All right, and our next trade request is going to be coming from Ender_IQ. So let's see what Ender has to trade with us today. So we start off really strong with a Gamma Nemesis Pure Nimble, a Gleaming Halloween Phage Hyper Clumsy, a Gleam Christmas Gargolem Robust Sluggish, and a Gamma Joltooth Hyper Sluggish. Although some of these natures are unfortunate, it does seem like this may be Ender's final trade, so we'll quickly check in a second. All right, and Ender did just confirm after I did ask whether or not this is his final offer, and he did just say yes. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade is an obvious no-burner. Once again, I know I've been using it a lot, but it is to be said, this trade is a great W. Overall, you would want to take this in a heartbeat. When looking at all these Loomians combined, especially the Gleaming Halloween LFH alone, it is a great trade nonetheless, especially for the fact that although it is evolved, it is still roughly around 9 to 10 GR, and since it does have bad demand, the ads with it actually do make this a great trade. And so without further ado, this is going to be another great thumbs up. But with that being said, let's get into our next and final trade. Alrighty, and our next and final trade is going to be coming from Axel M. So let's see what Axel has to share with us today. So we do offer in an SA Santa Dusket Pure Nimble, an SA Grimmyline Pure Nimble, a Gleam Christmas Protagon Blue Pure Nimble, a Gleaming Halloween Red Dakota Pure Smart, and it does seem like this may be Axel's final trade, but we'll quickly check in a second. Alright, and I did just ask Axel as to whether or not this is his final offer, and he did just say, I'll add a bronze and silver event Geklo, and he did follow up by saying, I gotta find it. So obviously assuming that both of those are still there, is this trade worth it? This trade is going to be a solid trade to take, as it is going to be a little bit iffy to determine, as the Gleam Christmas Protagon actually did drop horrendously to around 4 GR with terrible demand. We're looking at some of the lowest of the lows, but since we do also have the Gleaming Halloween Red Dakota with it, we can bump the total of those two up to around 14 to 15 GR with bad demand. However, everything else with your ads as well as the SA Santa Dusket isn't going to be terrible. However, just keep in mind, this is going to be a bad demand or bad demand man trade, by the looks of it, is going to be a solid thumbs up. Not going to be the craziest overpay, and by far it is a solid trade you'd want to take, and most definitely in the long run this would be more beneficial to you than probably the Alpha Kyeggo itself, unless it somehow does rise. So with this being said, let's conclude our trade. Alrighty guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe and join our Discord server, and while you're at it, also check out our Twitter giveaway, which is for the Gleaming Homie Randakamu, which ends at 7,900 subscribers, so make sure to enter while you can. Remember, pineapples are vegetables. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, peace.